Doctor Who The Stolen Earth, the 12th episode of Series 4, is written by Russell T Davies and starring David Tennant, Catherine Tate, Freema Agyeman, John Barrowman, Elizabeth Sladen and Billy Piper. This episode is also starring Penelope Wilton, Adjoa Ando, Eve Miles, Gareth David Lloyd, Tommy Knight and Alexander Armstrong. This is like the Infinity War of Doctor Who. So a two-parter story with a story arc revealing and crossovers thrown in there, such as Beast disappearing, Shadow Proclamation and the Medusa Cascade. This is the first episode that Doctor Who has crossed over with two spin-offs, the Sarah Jane Adventures and Torchwood, which I love. Russell T Davies compared that with his childhood imagination of Doctor Who and Star Wars crossover. A lot of this has been planned since early 2006 with the reality bomb and many guest stars appearing. Originally Donna and Midshipman Frame were going to have cameos in this, but Catherine Tate agreed to be the companion for Series 4, and as for Alonso, he would have been part of the Shadow Proclamation, which would have been cool, but Russell Tovey was unavailable. We get Davros first appearing in the modern era, as he last appeared in Remembrance of the Daleks. I remembered I used to have those Doctor Who cards, no idea what happened to them, but my stepdad pointed that he's going to return, which got me excited. When I first saw him on screen I thought he looks different, which is because it's an updated version, and the one I had on the card was the 80s version with Terry Malloy as Davros, and in the new Who we have Julian Bleach playing Davros. They were planning to bring Davros back in several occasions, like the Parting of the Ways. If Emperor Dalek was too expensive, then Davros would have been there. Julian Bleach's favourite episode is Genesis of the Daleks, and he used the inspiration of Michael Wisher, the original Davros. I think Julian is great as Davros. As for the Daleks, Russell brought them there as Daleks as part of the crossover was intended to create a charged atmosphere for the protagonists. Jack was killed by the Daleks, Rose and Martha were there at two of their apparent extinctions, and Sarah Jane was there at their creation. The mutant had to be recreated because the one they used in Series 1 sadly got damaged by water when the latter was filmed. And we have the Supreme Dalek coloured red, taking the inspiration from Peter Cushion's Dalek films. And I think Nicholas Brake's voicing the Daleks are outstanding. So after the Doctor and Donna sees the Earth absolutely fine, they went back into the TARDIS. The milkman noticed the shake. The Doctor is happy that Rose is coming back, but there is a massive shake for a second. So the Doctor finds out that the TARDIS is still in the same place, but the Earth has moved somewhere. Donna was unsure if her family are dead, so the Doctor moves his TARDIS to get to the Shadow Proclamation. Meanwhile, on Earth, Martha is in New York with Unit, and Sandra asks to look at the sky. Jack, Gwen and Yanto are in the Torchwood hub. Jack thinks it could be the rift, so he ran outside to have a look. Gwen and Yanto realises it's a bit bigger than South Wales. Luke and Sarah Jane in the attic, and there's Mr. Smith telling them to look outside. Sylvia and Wilfred looks outside as well, and I love Wilfred's line when he says, "What do you want this time, you green swine?" So everyone looks at the sky, and Rose appears in front of the same milkman that the Doctor asked what day it is, and it turns out the sky has gone dark, 25 planets showing in the sky, and everyone finds out that there's spaceships coming towards the Earth. Gwen phones Reese to tell her mum to take some pills and go to sleep, and Luke has phoned his mate. Maria is with her dad in Cornwall, which I've been there once when I was a baby, and Clyde is at home with his mum. I love the bit where Rose is walking in the street where we see a couple of drunk men and she's scared of two laptop thieves. So after Martha phones Jack asking if they found the Doctor and talking about Project Indigo, we get a scary moment with the Dalek sending exterminate message on screen. Ooh, I get goosebumps. Sarah Jane's reaction, you can tell she has met the Daleks before back in the 70s, and she's horrified on what could happen to her son Luke. Obviously Jack, Rose and Martha have met them before as well. We have Supreme Dalek saying the Crucible is almost completed, and the Daleks saying that they're the masters of Earth. Meanwhile, the Doctor and Donna arrive to the Shadow Proclamation. It's great to see the Jadoon again. So the Doctor looks at the scanner and notices 24 planets have recently been taken away, like Clom and Woman Wept. I wonder if Raxacorico Albatorius have been taken as well. Plus I realise about the other 3 planets being gone. Adipose 3, Pyrovilia, and the moon of Poosh. The bit where the Doctor mentions that someone tried to move the Earth once before, a long time ago, which it did happen in the Daleks' invasion of Earth in William Hartnell's era. Their attempts to put Pylus, the planet, were thwarted by the pull of the Earth's magnetic core. I've been analysing that Easter egg for years, but now I found it. Back on Earth, Daleks have destroyed a lot of military bases, and the Valiant is destroyed. Damn. General Sanchez orders Martha to put on Project Indigo prototype and take the Osterhagen key if there's no help. So she teleports away while both Sanchez and a unit soldier got exterminated. Jack thinks Martha is gone because it was reverse engineered from Centauran technology, which was left behind following their failed invasion of Earth in that year. But it turns out Martha teleported home and reunites with Francine. Davros appears, and I think it's great to have the character back for modern era. I also love Dalek Khan's laugh. I thought it was pretty freaky. So Donna sits on steps. Albino servant gave Donna some water and somehow knew there was something on her back and apologised for Donna's loss that was yet to come. So later she reminded the Doctor the bees disappearing, which is a clue. The bees were returning home to the planet Melissa Majoria, the Tandoko scale. They realised that if they follow the trail they can find the Earth. So the Shadow Architect orders the Doctor to lead her and a Jadun into battle, but the Doctor managed to get away. It's a shame because I'd love to see Jadun fighting with the Daleks. That would have been cool. Meanwhile, the Daleks took people out of their homes. And it's scary when they destroyed the house where the guy and his wife and son went back in. Although we have a funny scene where Wilfred uses a paint gun and shot a paintball at the Dalek's eyepiece. That was Bernard Cribbins' idea, just to make a reference to the Peter Cushing Dalek Invasion Earth 2150 AD film. Luckily Rose saved their lives and she's been trying to find the Doctor as well. According to Wilfred, last time Donna phoned, she was on the planet Midnight. While the TARDIS is in the Medusa Cascade and the Doctor mentioned he came when he was a kid, 19 years old, and there's nothing he can do, our heroes on Earth pretty much gave up until someone got in touch with Subwave Network. And it was Harriet Jones. It's great to bring her back. Apparently if Penelope Wilton declines, they would have had either Mr. Copper or Elton, which would be great to bring them back as well, but Wilton accepted, as she said she'd do anything for Russell T Davies. Apparently when Harriet Jones said the Subwave Network was created by Mr. Copper Foundation, I think that was created by Mr. Copper, which is cool, and Harriet developed it. So everyone got in touch each other, except they couldn't contact Rose. So after the conversation, our heroes uses their technology and phones to send signal to get the Doctor to Earth. Unfortunately, the Daleks have detected it, and before Harriet Jones gets exterminated, she gave control network to the Torchwood. It's sad that they killed her off. So after the Doctor and Donna found the Earth, our heroes managed to get contact with the Doctor, and Donna describes it as outer space Facebook. So then Davros got in touch. Sarah Jane is like, but he's dead, as she remembered seeing him got exterminated on screen back in Tom Baker's era. The Doctor points out that Davros was destroyed in the very first year of the Time War in the Gates of Elysium. He saw the command ship flew into the jaws of a nightmare child and he tried to save him. We also learn that Davros has made a new race of Daleks, as he shows his body where you can see his ribcage. Ugh. So the Daleks finds out that Subwave Network is coming from Torchwood. Jack, Rose and Sarah Jane are looking for the Doctor. The TARDIS lands in a street, and the bit where the Doctor sees Rose and running towards each other, smiling, really puts a smile on my face first watching it. It's great to see them together, but I was like, no! When the Dalek was right there and exterminated the Doctor. Luckily Jack appeared and destroyed it, so they dragged the Doctor into the TARDIS. In the cliffhanger, Gwen and Yanto using machine guns against the Daleks, as she said she's fighting like Owen and Tosh, who sadly died at the end of Torchwood Series 2. Sarah Jane almost ran over the Daleks, and because they don't accept apologies, they're about to exterminate Sarah Jane. The Doctor is regenerating with end credits. Man, first watching this as 9 years old, I thought he was going to regenerate back into Christopher Eccleston, as I was only familiar with those two Doctors at the time and forgot about Time Crash. But then that got me thinking that's the end of David Tennant's era, but we obviously find out in Journey's End. I really love this episode. What do you guys think of The Stolen Earth? Drop it down in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching. I shall see you guys in the next video.